Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tony Talks, where I have conversations with inspirational leaders, influencers, change makers, people that aren't just doing well in life, but are doing good in the world and giving back and contributing in their own way. And today I have the pleasure of bringing on a friend of mine who's already in the green room. I don't know, you guys can hear him stirring. He's waiting there. He is he's certainly an inspiration and an influencer in his own right. He is a finance professional and finance expert and coach. He is the founder of his own company. And hold on a second. Let me see here. Hold on a second. My own fault because I usually got it queued up. So he is he's a financial expert. He's a philanthropist, and he's the founder of Epic Insurance. So my friend Rob Gill is going to come on today because in these uncertain times, we need someone who's going to give us a little guidance, and he's one of those guys. Let me bring him on screen right now. My friend Rob Gill from Epic Insurance and Financial Services. What's up, my friend? How's it going?
How you doing, Tony? How are you, brother? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Good to see you. Good to have you on. I tell everybody in the beginning that this is a conversation not just between you and I, but with everyone out there in the audience. And if you have any questions that you think we may be able to answer, that particularly Rob would be able to answer, do post them in the comments, and we'll get to as many as possible. And share this live stream if you've got the opportunity to do that. Share it on your page, tag a friend, start a watch party, whatever works for you. And so with that said, I invite you, Rob, to just tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and why you're here.
Tony, listen, first of all, thank you so much for the invite. Can you hear me okay? I just want to
make
sure it's coming to. Okay, great. Thank you so much for the invite, brother. And it's amazing. I feel so privileged because I've had the good fortune of being in the Tony Robbins ecosystem for the last year and a half. And I've always noticed you, you know what I mean? But I've always noticed you from a distance. And to be on your show right now, or your podcast, or whatever the proper term for this is, I feel really blessed. I'm very grateful. And, you got to know me a little bit better today because I couldn't even figure out how to click the link to get on the page. And we're on my son's cell phone right now, which, as you could imagine, it's causing a stir in my house because he can't play video games for the next 35, 40 minutes or whatever, however long this is going to be.
Well, it's not your fault. Your phone is doing your office and your staff does the right thing and lock down your phone so tight that it wouldn't allow you to sign on to the live stream. So we apologize for being a little bit behind schedule today, but we did have some technical difficulties.
Yep. So a little bit about myself, and thank you so much. I love what you do every day. How you come out with a video every single day. I think it's awesome. You are, without a doubt, in my opinion, a servant leader. There's no doubt about it. And besides the fact that I've seen you through the Tony world, I think the real connection that we have is through Sean Callaghy, and for that I'm forever grateful. So a little bit about who I am, what we do. I've been in the financial services, over 21 years. And I've had the good fortune of seeing what happens with markets going up and down. And I am not a market timer. My wife owns a registered investment advisory, and she has with her, including 5 fiduciaries in that space. And the team members are Janice Gill, John Spring, Kelly Cole, David Harder, and Ed Gartner. And then on the other side of Epic is the insurance division, which is the division I run. And that's for all kinds of insurance, whether it's life, health, disability, business owners, and individuals. And we believe that in the space of insurance and in the space of wealth management for individuals and business owners, there's not a product that's ever going to cure anyone's problem. However, if there's an overall financial process and a strategy that's based on whoever we're talking to's core values, and within the context of their core values, we like to create plans and show it back to them based on what their goals and objectives are. So and Tony, that we've heard through Tony Robbins' world that, it's important to have an economic philosophy first, or a game plan first, and then once you know what that is, and have a true plan around that, that's diversified within and amongst all different asset classes. When winter comes and it's here and it's present, you really can't be held back because you understand that winter's part of the four seasons and spring's not far behind, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, unfortunately, there's a lot of people getting hurt through all of this. Listen, I've taken my lumps as well, but the more you prepare for winter, or the more you prepare for the unexpected, that you always have to be ready. There's something that I posted yesterday that was pretty poignant. I think it was yesterday, the day before, that said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So the best thing to do is always be prepared. Expect the unexpected, because life is unexpected.
Yep.
And things happen. And this has been a hell of a wake-up call to not only this country, but to the world, and certainly to the individual, right? Yep. How unprepared we were for something of this magnitude, of this size. And, yep. And I know that, it's taught me a few things as well. And I think it's taught all of us, both to not only to be prepared in our own home and have our own house in order, but to have our fiscal house as tight and as flexible as you could. Of course, there's a lot of people that are living paycheck to paycheck, and there's a lot of people that are just making ends meet. So obviously that makes it more difficult. But just to be able to prepare, and just, again, preparing for winter, and always trying to have a couple of months of reserves and that sort of thing, because so many people, certainly so many Americans, because I think that happens more than any other country, we spend beyond our means, and many times if we make 100, we spend 102. Especially, look, and I've been in real estate for actually 30 years. And it's no more true than in my industry, right? I mean, people, whatever they make, they spend, and then they forget that there's tax time, and that there's this bill and that bill and the other bill. Yep. People get caught up. So again, that's why it's such an important time to have you on, because you're someone that's well-versed in, I know that insurance is one of the things that you do, but you're well-versed in the financial aspects of it, diversification, and you've got your thumb on the pulse between the industry that you're in, and then your wife being a fiduciary as well, and having that side of it. You're kind of in the trenches. So I wanted you to come on just because we've had so much crazy market volatility. I spoke to you 2 weeks ago. I said, I'm going in, and I did, and then I got out, and and then now I wish I hadn't, because it did go down again after I got out, then it shot back up. And look, there's no one that's going to be able to time the market, and anybody that says that they can time it perfectly is, probably not speaking 100%, because nobody can time it perfectly, right?
Yeah, listen, and that's a great point. And listen, for me, even when you and I spoke, I gave you my overall global thoughts, and people that really have studied patterns, right? We know that when I think back of 08, right? Here's a good example. I remember when Lehman Brothers literally was about to go out of business, there was talks of it for about like 9 months before it happened. What I found interesting about COVID-19, and listen, this was right at the peak of the highest we were in the market, which was late January. And they just ripped the Band-Aid off. Like, I've never seen this kind of drop this fast, coupled with the fact that, hey, we still can't go back to work for another 2 or 3 weeks, minimum, maybe even more, right?
I think the governor just came on today. I didn't watch the whole thing, but somebody called me and told me that he just pushed it out another 30 days. So right now we're looking at, mid-May, maybe even end of May, which is.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's another argument that I could pose. Like, when you look at herd, they talked about it. I read it somewhere the other day. It was about, Tony talked about this, but it was an article that he put out about herd immunity, where you just kind of let it run its course, and it'll get through everybody a lot faster. I don't know if that's the right way or not, but what I do know is that it's forced me to do some research on flus. So naturally, I went to the last pandemic. And by the way, when I was in Idaho, they were talking about this. The last pandemic was 100 years ago, and all of a sudden this stuff just came out of nowhere. But when you look at the Spanish flu, I think it killed over like 500,000 U.S. citizens, and maybe over, and this was the research I did. I don't know how accurate it is. I always tell everyone to double check what I say, but I think that there was like 5 or 50 million people around the world, right? Now, we live in the 21st century, right? So we have a different technology, different speed of information. And I think they have their pulse on this much better than they would have in the past, even 20 years. But with that being said, to think about that, we're going to have another 30-day out of the office mandatory where, like, even when we go do pickup for food for at the supermarket, it's now a 5-day wait. That's getting close to being scary from a standpoint of, like, all of a sudden they've completely disabled society in 60 days, if you really think about it. You know what I mean? And to me, it's about really understanding how to understand the relationship capital that you have. Tony, you're present every day during this time, brother. When this is all said and done, you're going to be one of the leaders that comes out of this, right? So being present, being informational, being intentional, being there to serve and contribute with information. Like, some of the things I'm trying to do is, like, look, guys, whoever owns a small business, make sure you get with a proper team that knows how to fill out the paperwork the right way. So not only do you fill out the paperwork for the loans the right way, whether it's going to be part of the payroll protection program and or the EIDL, which is more of the disaster fund, make sure you fill this stuff out the right way. So when your person goes back 2, 3, 4 months later to get some of this to be forgivable loan, it's all done the right way. I mean, right now they're printing money left and right, and they're trying to put money on a problem. But you can only do that so long before we all have to go back to work. That's the bottom line.
Well, not only that, but the negative impact of what's going to happen to the economy and the value of the dollars is going to, so yeah, there's it's so complex right now. And listen, the market's already complex enough, but this COVID and this bailout and everything that's happening, and the fact that companies are closed for as long as they are, and there's so much disruption internationally. I guess in a way, the only good thing, not that there's anything good out of this, but the only thing that, the only, I guess, comfort or solace that a lot of the big businesses have is that the world is stopped. So it's not like, where, the US or England or Italy is the only one that's stopped, and they're going to fall so far behind, the times and the markets that it's going to take forever to catch up. No, everybody's closed. Everybody's going through the same challenges. So,
it's a restart.
Yeah,
it's really a restart. You know what I mean? It's a restart, and there's going to be a lot of great businesses that are created out of this, and there's going to be a new wave of entrepreneurs. There's going to be new ways of doing things going forward. Listen, there's going to be a new normal. Is it going to be such a crazy paradigm shift? I think 6 months out, it'll slowly get back to a normal, even if it gets back to some kind of normal by June 1st. But I think once they have the, which it's not a cure, but once they have the immune shot for it, I think things will be different as time goes on. And listen, I rest in peace to all the souls that left this mortal coil. My mom is over 82 years old, and my nephew had it, and he was a diabetic, so that was a little concerning. So I'm not dismissing the fact that once this thing hits somebody who's already compromised, it doesn't speed up the process, because clearly it does. But at the end of the day, the question is, how long can we go to where we're not stepping in and getting back to the norm? And by the way, while we're waiting, what are we doing in the meantime? To send our messaging out there, creating our relationships, and really kind of study. Listen, I'll watch CNN, I'll watch Fox, and then I'll do independent research, because I want to be able to understand all the messaging that's taken place and get a better grip for myself.
Yeah, listen, the reality of it is we are going to have to get back to work, so to speak, because the world just can't stop for 6 months or a year, because the collateral damage that'll come from that will probably far surpass whatever COVID's doing now. And look, my heart goes out to everybody who's suffering from it, all the people who died. My wife, she just lost a family member. Not it wasn't first hand, being like a third cousin, type thing. She just lost someone this morning to that. And there's a lot of people that we know that have contracted it. Some have already recovered, fortunately, but it is a sign of the times now. Unfortunately, the reality of it is we are going to have to get back to work at some point. And I don't know. If anything, I think it's going to be a new normal, because I don't know that it's going to go back to exactly the way that it was. Listen, people aren't going to be in close proximity for a while. So there's so much has changed, the dynamics of what's going on. And certainly, business, you've got to change. Listen, businesses that aren't innovating now, I've been saying this for several days on the show, but innovation is usually spawned by necessity. And right now, things are changing. There's going to be a lot of shifts in business. There's a lot of shifts now. I'm wondering what the shift is going to be in the commercial real estate market, in the commercial spaces, because so many people are getting used to working from home, working remotely. Employees are getting used to that, and employers are getting used to that, and seeing, okay, maybe this is the time to shift to making that happen. So that's going to change a lot of different things, the way business is done. And I don't know. Listen, I don't know that we should go back to normal, or what that normal was, because that normal obviously didn't have us prepared for what was coming. So I'm hoping that somebody is preparing and making themselves better and strengthening their business, their foundation, and everything else to be able to move forward with the end in mind, right? And knowing that they've got to prepare themselves for the unexpected.
Yes. And how do you do that? That's the question.
Well,
the question is, how do you put, now you and I know, right?
Well, why don't you drop some tips, and I'll fill in some blanks there as well.
So thank you for that. So listen, every day I wake up, the first thing I wake up, I'm scared, right? Like those 60,000 thoughts that happen every single day that are part of my 2 million year old brain. It's, I'm waking up in a scarce mindset, like right away. Boom, the world is going to end. What am I going to do? Why does this keep happening to me? All those disempowering questions, right? So for me, constantly repeating empowering questions at all times. I'm constantly looking to put myself in a position of asking the right question. And I'll go back to some of my other books and I'll repeat some of the incantations, and I'll go through that exercise every single morning. It helps me. And then what I like to do is step into action by making lists, making phone calls, and creating opportunities just for conversations, right? With people that I haven't spoken to before. So what I've begun to realize, and I'm sure you know this as well, Tony, I remember like 3 weeks ago thinking, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing, because I've always done videos, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing live videos or webinars or anything like that. I've been doing them every day now. You know what I mean? So this was something 3 weeks ago that I wasn't even going to do. And the thing that I've noticed, and I'm sure you have now, we have access to conversations with people that we may not have had access to a month ago.
Right.
Right. And to me, that's amazing, because to me, that's like, all right, look, you're right. Things may be different in business going forward. There will be some changes, right? We don't know exactly what they look like, but being a part of this time in history right now, and the way we're all connecting, if this happened 30, 20 years ago, humans wouldn't be able to connect the way they are right now. Think about it. There was no Facebook, and the internet was slow, and it would have been much harder to connect the way we're connecting. So, I think because of that, there's going to present a lot of opportunities. But for me, I like to ask empowering questions. I like to make lists, and I like to create more and more relationships only through giving information and serving, not any expectation. And I'll always tell people, if you want somebody from my team to do a free look or look under the hood, they will. But that's not what this is about. This is about just serving and contributing and asking empowering questions.
Absolutely. Listen, I will say this, I'm gonna give you a little tip, because waking up scared every morning is something that I don't do. And one of the tips that I'm going to give you, and I'll give to everyone else, is
how about scarce, not scared? That's when I first wake up, I have a scarce right away. It's a lack mindset versus abundance.
Yeah. Well, so here's one of the ways to combat that is at night. So many people, my regular routine is I do my gratitude in the morning and everything else. And sometimes I do it at night. I try to do it as often as possible, but go to bed. But before you go to bed, think about what went right that day and what are you grateful for today, right? And what's tomorrow going to be like, and what are you going to be grateful for tomorrow? So that way, when you wake up, you'll hopefully already go to sleep thinking about those things. And by all means, do not go to bed watching the news or watching any kind of, action or any overstimulating show, right? Either
that's a good point.
Preferably, or go to bed with something that's lighthearted that you're watching, because that'll keep you in that spirit. Because if you're sleeping with the TV on, guess what? Your mind is listening, right? So if you've got the TV going on, the worst thing, and I used to do that, I used to go to sleep and have the news on. And I'm just hearing that crap all night long. I don't even have the news channels anymore, to be honest with you. I watch it on local TV when it comes on at 5 or whatever it is, or 6 a.m. or whatever it is. And then obviously I'm on social media, so I don't have to be connected that way.
Tony, that's an excellent point, because I've made those mistakes. I get that. You
So
know what I mean? That's a really good point.
Yeah, when you wake up and you're just watch what's on your TV before you go to sleep, or if you have the TV on overnight. And then the other way to combat that right away in the morning is think about what you're grateful for. Wake up and say, I'm still here. Good news. Another day above ground. I'm winning. Right? Yeah. So think about that, and just think about the gratitude component. The other thing, to your point as well, is just to prepare now, right? Feed your mind. Think about what it is that you're feeding your mind. Right? Feed your mind positivity. Just what are you doing to improve your business moving forward? What are you doing to improve yourself moving forward? I said it yesterday when I was on with Sharon Lecter. I said, one of the cures to fear and anxiety is action. Taking action and doing something about whatever it is. If you're afraid of something, what can you do to mitigate that fear? What can you learn? Who can you speak to? Who can you connect with?
No doubt about it.
Yeah. And then again, to add to your point as well, right now is the time that you can connect with people that you haven't been able to connect with before. If you're in business and you're trying to get a hold of other business owners, there is no better time than now. Send them the email, send them a text message, send them a video. Forget text message. That's old. Send somebody.
You're right. You're right about that.
You say, absolutely. Get on and say, hey, Angel, listen, I just wanted to call you, say hello, make sure that everything's okay. Hope you're well. I'd love to connect with you soon. Boom.
One of the things I do, to your point, brother, is if they don't pick up the phone, I'll do a text video. I learned that from Chris Crone. That's real powerful. Doing a text video works well. Just keep that in mind.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Yep, I do that. If you said that, that's great. And the other thing that I think is, one of the things you triggered a thought in my head when it comes to, I did a video today and I talked about the A-listers, meaning, there may have been people that you were in your business, or for all the business owners that are out there, that were trying to recruit somebody that may have been a quote A-lister. And as a result of that, maybe as of December and January, they were looking for too much money for not the same amount of work that today, because we are going through economic redemption, there is people that are going to change careers. And I see it left and right. A buddy of mine just reached out to me and he was like, he goes, listen, I think I might want to make a career change. He's 48 years old and he's very good in sales. And that's going to keep happening more and more, I could tell. And one of the things about the A-listers is right now, you could probably get them on discount if you're in a business that is looking to recruit and looking for economic redemption and people that want to be part of something bigger than themselves that is really empowering and having a positive impact on people, not only informationally, but also from a planning perspective. You may have those opportunities, and don't not be on the lookout for that, because right now the economic chaos is allowing us to go to our wealth laboratories and just figure out strategies going forward.
Yeah, just remember, exactly. And remember that for every, so there's going to be companies that are going to be succeeding. There's going to be companies that unfortunately aren't going to come back. But remember, that companies don't come back, somebody's going to pick up that slack of both the employees, the business, the customers. So one man's loss, unfortunately, is another man's gain. Hopefully, the goal is to be in the position to be the person that's experiencing the gain and not just a loss, right? Yeah. So what can you do? Who can you reach out to? Like I said, I've had great guests on my show in the last week to 10 days that, and I'm booking somebody every day because people are more open and available now. Hell, I've had, I had Joseph McClendon, I had Master Co, I had a litany of great people, and I've got, another great bunch of people coming up. I mean, they're awesome. It's getting better. So yeah, so if you know anybody that'd like to come on, that's a mover and a shaker, let me know, and we'll.
You should interview Mike Vesuvio.
Oh, you know what? Mike's a good dude. Actually, I gotta
let him know. And also, who I think, if you haven't had him yet, I like to consider him an up and comer, who's got a tremendous presence on camera, is Jay Levine. You know Jay, right?
I know Jay. Actually, I've been talking about having Fernando on as well, so I got to get
Fernando's another one.
I got to get Sean's already been on the show. I got to get Sean back on the show as well.
Yeah. But Jay's in your industry though.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's I like Jay. I like Fernando. Mike Vesuvio will be a very good one. Have you had Anthony Murielli on yet? He's an accountant out of Staten Island. He has 4 different offices in 3 different states.
I haven't. But listen, just we'll talk offline.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline. But anyway, so one of the things that I want to get to is talking about the markets and talking about what you think is happening and what people should be doing for maybe some asset protection, asset allocation. Because people have questions. Certainly, we can't give any. You're not here. No one's here to give advice on what to buy, what to not to buy. But maybe there is some, hey, stay away from this or be careful with that. Or, something you told me, I told you I was buying, you said, go easy. So remember that the stock market is kind of like Atlantic City. Not quite. You can make some safe bets and some safe investments, safer than others. But you gotta, when you get into the market, especially if you're trading individual stocks, and somebody told me already a while ago, get into if you don't know, get into the ETFs where you're buying, the S&P 500, whatever, buy the ETFs. So that's an overall market. So it's not going to make you as much money, but it's also a safer place to put your money, because even if one thing goes down or one industry goes down, it's not going to cripple you. But if you're going with individual stocks and you've not traded before and you're doing day trading, just remember, you can only play with what you're willing to lose. Just like you don't go to Atlantic City with the deed of your house. Go only with with what you're willing to lose.
Yes. So great question. I hear you loud and clear. So here's the way I look at it, and I've passed my 7, my 65, my 63, my 24. I've had those. I don't have those licenses anymore, so I'm not giving any advice. I know when my team, specific to the market and wealth management, and these are the fiduciaries, I know that from that space, and which I agree with 100%. So from that space, it's all about understanding first and foremost what the client's goals and objectives are. That's the first thing. And then from there, it's important to understand how to position their dollars that sits and fits with their goals and objectives, right? And that's, as you're talking about, ETFs within and amongst asset classes. Now, for me, to our private conversation, Tony, my first thought when I saw this going on was, because I had a couple of people I had a guy that called me and said, hey, listen, I got $3 million. I want to put it all in tomorrow. And I was like, like all kinds of danger signs went off. And for me, I was like, well, if you have 3 million, what I would do is, and this was as of 2 weeks ago, what I would do is dollar cost average over the next 6 weeks. That's what I felt would have been a smart thing to do. And in that space, I'm very confident in what I said there, because the market had gone at that point from 22 down to 18.5, back up to where it is right now, right? I think that the market's forward looking. I think if you're a trader, and Tony, to your point, if you're going to trade with money you expect to go to zero. I get that. But my point is, if you're going to be a trader, even if you win, let's say if you have 10 grand, you turn into 20 grand, you're going to owe at least $3,000 to $4,000 in taxes on that. So don't forget that if you keep trading it, because a year later you will have a tax consequence. Now, there is a new rule that came out, and now I'm going to kind of give traders a bailout a little bit. There's a new rule that just came out under the stimulus package, which is a net operating loss. And check this with your accountant. But usually you're only able to write off $3,000 a year in losses, but could carry it for 20 years. From what I understand now, they are accelerating that number. So if you have 20,000 in losses, you can write them off a lot faster now than you would have been able to do prior to COVID-19. With that, if you trade stocks and you're trading for the short term, there'll be a short-term capital gains that could, that'll put you into a higher tax bracket, right? Because it's based on your ordinary income. And from that standpoint, it's always, you want to be careful of that. But I don't necessarily believe in trading per se. Not to say that there's not a lot of money out there to be made, because there is. Not to say that you, Tony, aren't an expert based on your experience, because I had no reason to doubt what you were saying. But I've heard some folks say, if you want to trade individual stocks, look at Fortune 100 companies that have good balance sheets. That's some of the stuff that I'm hearing.
Right.
Once again, don't
Oil
take my
companies,
word for it. Talk
thing.
to your professionals.
Yeah, listen. Right now, what I've been hearing from a lot of different people is, the oil companies and cell companies and anything to do with 5G, because we all know where that's coming, even though we haven't been hearing anything about it
I know.
on the news. Right? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's happening every day.
Every
Right?
day, 35 satellites are being launched, or 35 a week being launched.
I know. You know who brought me up to speed on that? Dr. Roger Sahare. I didn't even realize it, and he gave me a really good education on that.
Yeah, that's another conversation, which could be intimidating and nerve-wracking. But again, conversation for another day.
Yes.
So one of the things that we were talking about, trade, not being careful with the individual stocks, but you just said something that the market's forward looking. So do you think it's still up for an adjustment, or do you think because I've had some experts say that it looks like it's probably going to go down again before it goes up?
Here's what my instincts tell me. Ready? And I don't understand trading patterns. I don't know where the support levels are, other than maybe the low 18s. I don't know what kind of news could come out that would bring it back down there again. But here's what I do know. I think that and this is an important thing when you look at the economy. The economy was so strong at the end of January that I think as we get past this quarantine, it's not going to be hard with the stimulus package to get back to that place. I'm a little shocked right now, between you and I, to see that the market is where it is, which means it's telling me that it has a predictor in the future that's going to move a little bit faster than I've anticipated. Can it go down from here a little bit? Absolutely. Do I even think it's going to test the lows of 18,000? I don't think it's going to happen. Do I think that based on all the hype, and you've been reading this, and the fear, and the fact that there's 14 or 13,000 people that passed away, and the original number was 2 million, then it went down to 1 million, then it went down to 250, then it went down to 100,000. Clearly, that number is not going to be as high as what they thought. I think that between stimulus packages, not bailouts, because this is the words they're using, not me. So they're making it that it's a stimulus, it's not a bailout. That I believe that the market could go back lower from here, which obviously it will. But do I think it's going to fall below 18? My instincts are telling me no, because I at the end of March there was a rally, and part of that was the rebalancing in the portfolios, right? So there was going to be a pullback in April. I was expecting the market to still be pulling back for the first 2 weeks. I'm a little shocked that it's actually not pulling back as much.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it came back up because, like I said, some experts were saying that because the next support level is about 18,000 again, and then the one below that, if it goes below that, it's about 15,000.
Yeah. And the market sees what we don't see, unblinded style, right? It's seeing what we don't see. So,
well, one of the things that was said to me was that the market is emotional as well, right?
It is,
because people act on emotion. So the market has its own cycle. So it's interesting for that. For more on that, check out the Tony Talks episode I did with Steve Lender. He's a beast and a badass at it for sure. So hold on, let's see. We got a question. What about an individual 401k plan? What do you think on that? Anything on that? Any advice?
So
401ks have taken a pounding for sure.
So what's the exact question, just so I understand?
What about individual 401k plan is the actual question. And then by Leo as well is, are you guys are experts on real estate? Is it smart pulling in now and invest in real estate? But you go with 401k, then I'll
play on that a little bit. I could play with you a little bit there. So here's what I believe when it comes to full planning. I don't believe that if all your money's in the market's the way to go. I don't believe if all your money's in real estate's the way to go. I don't believe if all your money's in life insurance is the way to go. What I do believe in is somewhere in that metric and somewhere in that space, you could figure out a dynamic that'll totally set you free, right? So to the first question, as we know, a 401k goes in with pre-tax dollars. It grows tax deferred, and then when you take it out, it gets taxed at ordinary income. If you were 65 in January and your 401k was worth $1 million, it's now worth 600,000, right? Challenge there is if you were going to retire at 66, you can't retire right now. So because remember, not only did it go down, but even when you take money out, you're still going to get taxed on it. So a 401k has a place, but it has a place in the long term, and you have to understand how the other investment classes step into that, like real estate. So, Tony, I'm not going to tell your story, but what I can say is if people buy real estate for an investment, they buy it for four reasons. They want to buy it for cash flow, right? They want to buy it for a mortgage interest write-off, so they get to write off some of their earned income and keep more money in their pocket. However, by depreciating the asset, you have challenges later on from a standpoint of recover that depreciation or ordinary income. Then you got to play the 1031 exchange game. Another conversation, but let's keep it simple. Four reasons: cash flow, mortgage interest write-off, depreciation of the asset, and then you expect the property to increase in value over time. Now, the thing I do with Chris Crone so well, if you buy real estate and life insurance, what happens is your cash value in the life insurance can become the down payment for your real estate. And now your real estate renter can pay back your policy. And now you can become a bank. And instead of getting 4 rates of return, you can get 7 rates of return. You combine that with the 401k and the wealth management account, you're whole. You have a very good overall strategy when it comes to planning. So that's my 2 cents in that. I have 10% left on this phone, just so you know. So it may die in about 11 minutes.
All right, so we'll try to keep it to another 10 or 15 minutes. So to go on Leo's question as well. So right now, the interest rates are obviously at an all-time low. They just pulled it back. It's in the twos, which is crazy. That's not a sustainable interest rate, by the way. So there's only a matter of time before that goes back up. And this is even before the coronavirus hit. And that caused what it's caused. So I don't know how long they're going to keep those interest rates low. I can tell you that we were at the end of a cycle. We're at the end of a cycle. Now, the market was due for a correction.
Yes.
That's just the way it is. It was due for a correction. They were manipulating the interest rates to keep the market going further. What's going to happen now because of this pandemic and what it's done to the market? It's really nobody, it's kind of, nobody can really say that what's going to happen right now, because again, emotion is going to play into it. Certainly the interest rates are going to play into it. Banks, people's ability to pay is going to play into mortgages and how that may be tightening up. People getting the unemployment rate is going to play into that. So there's a lot of moving parts that can really manipulate what's going to happen with the market. So it's kind of hard to tell. If I had been asked this question prior to it, I'd say that we're in for a correction. And I'd also go on to say that depending, it's an election year, so that causes an unpredictable factor. My personal opinion is if the current president stays in, we're going to see a lower hit than if he is no longer president. I think we're going to see a higher hit. But again, now we've got this whole situation that happened, and really no telling. So that's not an easy question to ask. So as recognizing now that inflation may go up as well as 10% penalty waiver. Listen, inflation is obviously going to take its toll. I don't know. It's kind of unpredictable. Like I said, the only bright side to any of this is that the whole world is going through it, and it's not just one country. So, everybody's kind of like suffering together. So,
one of the questions that's being asked, though, because a lot of people do have 401ks and IRAs right now, Tony, and one of the questions that are being asked is, if you're under 59 and a half, can you take money out of your IRA and 401k without a 10% penalty? And the answer is yes. And you could take up to $100,000. And by the way, you could spread the tax on that, because that may cost $30,000 in taxes, but you could spread the tax on that for 3 years. So if somebody took $100,000 out in January, they'd have to pay 10% plus 30%, or they'd get 60. Now they'd get 90, and then they'd have to pay the other $20,000 in taxes over the next 2 years. So if somebody's a real estate person and they have a lot of money in their 401k or IRA, let's say they have $1 million or $2 million, and they want to diversify out, and they understand real estate the way you would, or the way Jay would, or the way Chris Crone would, that could be an opportunity for them to pick up investment properties off of certain money that they have in their 401k. Once again, they should talk to their accountant, their lawyer, as well as their financial planner.
Yeah. No, it's always a good idea, regardless of what you hear, whether you hear it here or regardless of where you're hearing it. Um, just always talk to your financial planner. Always talk to your accountant. Always talk to
Yep.
your attorney. That's a really great idea because there's a lot of people doing a lot of shows, and some people know what they're talking about, and some,
Yep.
well, not so much. Um, and just be careful what you hear. As they
Yes.
say, believe it and I hate to say it, but it's I say it in jest and kind of sort of not really. Don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. Right.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
but so just verify, clarify, and verify because you never know, and things
Absolutely.
state by state, case by case scenarios. So just be careful with all of it.
Yeah, and you know what, brother, and I believe in this. We have an app. It's called the Epic Wealth Builder, which is a partnership with eMoney, and we believe that everyone should be able to have all their financial data on one landing page, whether it's their mortgages, their life insurance, their wealth, their 401k, their IRA, their credit card debt. And if it's constantly measured and monitored, you can make sober financial decisions. With that, though, I also believe that in any space that you're in, you should make sure that your accountant speaks to your estate attorney, who speaks to your financial planner, who speaks to your insurance agent. Everybody should be on the same page. If they are, every one of your financial decisions are going to be based off of a sound, sober group of thinkers that could put you in the right direction to make sure that what you're doing is not only understanding risk and taxation and lost opportunity costs today, but you're also able to position yourself going forward to be liquid for opportunities that present themselves. Because I got news for you right now. Whoever's the most liquid today is going to have so many unbelievable opportunities in businesses, as well as real estate, as well as buying stocks on sale generationally because of of how they position their money.
Yeah. Listen, I like that line that you just said, sound, sober decisions. And I say that because one of the things that I'd like to advise everyone that's on here watching is to make sure that you're making sound, sober decisions. Don't make, I learned this from my mentor, Tony Robbins, and you've heard it as well. Don't make any decisions at the peak of any emotion. If you're really excited, don't make a decision. If you're
Yep.
really depressed, sad, and scared, don't make a decision. Stop
Yep.
and think, get to a neutral place so you can make that decision, because any decision made at a peak of emotion is usually a decision that you're going to regret. Whether you say it's a yes or it's a no or it's a buy or it's a sell or whatever it is, just be careful when you're making decisions, certainly financial decisions that are going to affect you and your family long term. Make sure that it's a sound, sober decision and not just an emotional decision.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so, and that to that point, brother. People's thinking right now, because we are in such unprecedented times. I keep trying to fix my hat. It's so hard to take on that kind of thinking, but if you do, and if you really challenge yourself when you get that feeling of uncertainty that may fill up in your gut, if you could really just take a step back and say, all right, listen, let me kind of get with the right team and let me work with the right people. Because what will happen is not the splash of it, but the ripple as the wave gets closer to the beach becomes bigger and bigger. Within that ripple, all these good decisions that you make now will pay you dividends times dividends times dividends going forward.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And if you're looking to make an investment, you have some money to invest, and you're really looking, I will give you a surefire investment that I guarantee you will pay you the best returns that you can do. You guys ready for it?
I'm ready.
Guaranteed best return you'll ever make is
Tell
the
me.
investment you make in yourself.
That's right.
The investment you
That's
make in yourself. Because when you improve yourself, you improve your skills, you improve your
Amen.
in life and in business, it'll pay the best returns. Prepare yourself for what's coming. Prepare yourself to be a better business owner. Prepare yourself to be a better husband. Prepare yourself to just be the best version of you.
Yep.
And you invest in yourself, and I guarantee you it will pay the best dividends.
Absolutely. 100%.
Even if you don't have the financial dividends, you'll be happy, you'll be content. So try to get to that point. And one of the things, I can't say this enough, and I'm going to say it again, because when it comes to the financial conversations, it's a very anxiety causing conversation, causes agita and whatever, and fear and angst and everything else. In this and in everything else, just remember to keep I don't want to say stay positive because, you know, we all want to be negative right now, right?
Keep congruent, right?
Yeah, but keep congruent, but have a positive mental attitude, right?
Yeah.
Stay light. It's so important not to get bogged down with and to your point of what you were saying before of scarcity.
Yeah.
You know, things might be scarce right now, like toilet paper. Scarce right now, but it's not going to be scarce forever. Just remember, you're abundant. If you're here, you've got the time, you've got the technology, you've got what it takes to be here watching this, and you're still doing better than many people in the world.
If you're listening right now, you're on a path of progress and you're on a path of prosperity. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you've made a decision. Exactly. This is an investment in yourself. And I say this all yesterday to Sharon. I'm going to say it out off air, and I'm going to say it now, that our most valuable asset is time. So the time that we're putting in right now, the time that you're giving me, and I appreciate that, is time that you can't get back. It's cheaper for you to give me 10 grand, which I'll take. I'll give you my address afterwards. You can send cash, small bills, whatever. But because you can make that back.
Yeah.
You can't make your time back.
Yes.
So that's why I'm so grateful for you and for all of my guests that come on here, and for everybody that's doing their part to bring positive energy, bring information to the world, especially now in these times when people are struggling financially. Yeah. There's so many people that are contributing, giving their time and giving of themselves and their knowledge to help other people. You know, that it's amazing. Somebody just said, yeah, Carlos Amaya, another guy. He just said, great show, right on point. Let me put that up there. Great show, right on point. Another guy that he's got a podcast that he does. It's on video and audio and everything else. And it's just him giving. You know, give me information. And it's in Spanish, which was kind of wild. I'd never, you know, I did his podcast in Spanish, and Spanish is my third language. And I was actually a little concerned to do it because I didn't know if I'd be able to flow. But man, when I got into it, it really flowed well. But just for the people that are out there contributing, giving back so much of their time and knowledge, you know, I commend everyone. I commend everyone for that, because again, time is our most valuable asset. So I commend you, everyone that's watching. I commend you for taking and investing your time in learning, and whether it be from this show or from other shows. I commend you for that. And again, keep doing it. Keep investing in yourself. And right now, we've all got a little bit more time. Well, I don't have that much more time, to be honest. I'm more Zoom calls and more webinars.
Well, you know what, Tony? What you do with this platform is amazing, and I can't thank you enough, because you bring it every day. Every day you have a video. Every day you're doing a show.
Well, for the record,
that commitment is amazing.
For the record, it's every day during this crisis, because I wouldn't be able. I just can't do this every day.
Well, you're doing it.
For the foreseeable future, I am going to be doing this every day. It does pose a challenge, I will say. It does pose a challenge to promote the person the next day. Like tomorrow's speaker, I can't promo until I'm done with the show. Otherwise, it's going to interfere with the promo that I'm doing to have you on. So it does.
But see, no one knows that challenge because they don't do what you do. You understand that challenge, right? So that's like a success process.
Yeah,
that elevates you, that resistance.
So I am going to be bringing forward the week long the schedule for the week, and be posting that, and hopefully that'll help me with that challenge.
Awesome.
How you doing on battery life on your son's phone there?
Let me see. Let's see if it'll show it to me. I don't even know. I would assume we got a couple minutes.
All right. Well, so listen, I'm gonna wrap up. As a matter of fact, I'll give you the last word. So why don't you take it away and just tell us, give us a couple of pearls of wisdom.
So first of all, I want to thank you for the show, this opportunity, Tony. I'm very grateful. Your action is louder than your words, and your words are powerful. And you are a servant leader, and it's amazing. And I'm super grateful. For anyone out there that's an individual, it's important that you get on the same page with your planner. For anyone out there that is starting over, don't let that bother you, because this is a reset for a lot of people, if not everybody. And just get into the habit of saving. But when for someone that has questions about the advantages and disadvantages of all the different products that are out there, how you create a financial mosaic that sits and fits with what your goals and objectives are, feel free to reach out to anyone on my team. Tony can pass on the information. It is a free look under the hood. If you have any questions, we'd be more than willing to do it. If you're looking to talk to someone from a a financial therapeutic standpoint, we would do that as well.
By the way,
Business owners,
what's your website so I can put it in here?
Gill at well, if you want to contact us or just the website.
What's the website, and then I'm sure there's a button to click on.
It's epicwm, epicwm.com, www.epicwm.com. All the players on the team are on there, and for the small business owner, and even the big business owner that's out there, it's really important that you understand the different programs, the PPP program and the EIDL. Get with the right team that can help you with the paperwork. I think that's real important, and I think it'll put you in a better position to be able to take advantage of the loans and everything else that's out there.
Fantastic. And what's your email so that they can go give it
rgill at epicwm as in Mary.com.
Awesome. So if you have any questions, hit up my buddy Rob here at his email. Check him out on his website. And where can they find you on? Actually, you're Robert Gill on Instagram as well, right? If somebody wants to follow you there.
Yeah, we also have Epic Insurance Services. So it's Rob Gill and Epic Insurance Services.
Awesome, awesome. And do you have anything that you're working on right now that you're excited about to take us out?
Yeah, we're excited. Listen, we're excited at honestly being able to see what this reset looks like. It's not something that we're working on specifically, but being able to serve and contribute and create platforms for clients where they can have all their information real time at the click of a button. So all their decisions are really based on what they really feel logically, but tie the emotion into it and be sober in your thinking. And so, because you're right, America is drunk on consumerism, and that's why we got in this trouble, right? And that's why we can't just spend our way out of it. So there has to come a time where we take on the ownership of fiscal and savings responsibility. And I think that's what we bring to the table.
Awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for taking the time, and don't go away. I'm just going to close up the show and we'll chat for a minute. Everyone that's watching, thank you for watching. Make sure that you click share, tag your friends, whoever you think that this may add value to. And remember that we're here every day, at least for the foreseeable future, at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 p.m. in Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And remember, my friends, that life is not about how many times you fall. It's about getting up after every time you fall. If you fall down 7 times, you get up 8. And it's in falling that you learn. It's in getting up that you're growing. And every single one of us has an opportunity to get up and grow after every fall. And we all must grow through what we go through. So I appreciate all of you. And remember, if you are starting over, remember, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. So know that. And if you have, by all means, reach out to Rob, reach out to myself. You can find me on Instagram as well, Tony Rodriguez with an S, Tony Rodriguez 2.0 on Instagram, and certainly on Facebook. You can find me at Get Up and Grow with Tony Rodriguez, or just my name, Tony Rodriguez. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night.